sir. Everybody, welcome to No Ideas Original. We are here joined by Stefan Grant from NoirBnB. Welcome, man. It's a pleasure to have you.
What's up, bro?
I appreciate the opportunity, man. Thank you, fellas. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Thank you for asking, man.
We're doing good. How you holding up? Where you currently at?
I'm based in South Florida, man, in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area.
Okay. How you making out with everything with the pandemic? Because Florida is open again, right?
Yeah, Florida's open, man. But honestly, things have actually been cool. I mean, things have been different, of course, for everybody.
Sure.
But I gotta give our governor and our local officials props. They did a very good job handling it. I mean, things didn't get too crazy. I mean, people were able to get their food and supplies and all that. And cases I think Florida might have had some of the best results and numbers as far as cases and spreads and like
nice.
losses and stuff like that have gone. You know what I mean? So I got to give them props for doing what they're doing. And Florida gets a bad rap because of, it's a couple of crazy stories, man. But we all stuck together and wrote this out in a cool way. So that was cool.
Yeah, you just put them on the map, man. That sounds like they was doing good work down there, man. Florida's a big state, man. So good stuff, man.
Exactly, definitely.
So this is a discussion that I'm excited to have because you present as a really interesting guest because what you're into is things that I'm extremely interested in. One, with the travel, so that's the NoirBnB aspect, and also the entrepreneurial aspect as a Black man having the opportunity to own something. So can you start off just telling us a little bit how you came up with the concept for NoirBnB?
Oh man, essentially it kind of came to me in phases. One, I've always had a passion for travel. Like I'm literally a product of travel. My parents were in the tourism industry back in Jamaica, you know what I mean? So literal product of tourism, man. But yeah, man, like I've always loved traveling, and of course I'm a Black man. Black culture is everything to me. I always loved being Black and in support of that. So initially how the idea came about was I was hosting an event during a music festival in Atlanta in 2015. And I had been using Airbnb for a long time. We used Airbnb in Texas for South by Southwest. We were using it in Atlanta for A3C. So it's something that we just usually did. But this time, actually, we kind of experienced discrimination the first time we used Airbnb in Texas. But this time happened in Atlanta. And when it happened in Atlanta, like the neighbors saw a bunch of Black people in the house and thought we were robbing the place, called the police and the whole nine. So it was kind of crazy, man. So I kind of, and like this is like after Mike Brown and Trayvon and all that type of stuff had already happened, you know what I mean? So like I used my mind at the time and thought, all right, like when the situation was actually happening, the cops pulled up, had their guns drawn and the whole nine. It was kind of crazy. But like my thing was, I was like, well, one, how do we de-escalate the situation and make this calm and keep everything as copacetic as possible? So I focused on that. And once we kind of got everything calm and cool, I asked the cops if it was cool if we take a selfie together. So me, my homie, and these two cops took a selfie. All of us smiling ear to ear. I posted it on my Twitter account, and I was like, yo, the Airbnb that we're staying at is so nice. The neighbors thought we were robbing the place and called the cops. Posted it on Twitter, and
nice.
it went crazy viral. Yeah, basically. So it was a couple of things. One, it was a funny moment, so I just wanted to share that.
Right.
Also, I knew that people would see that and possibly resonate with it, but I didn't think that it would take off the way that it did. So it went viral, crazy across Black Twitter and Twitter in general. A bunch of media folks hit us up, and we actually ended up being hit up by Airbnb, and they offered us like a voucher for a future stay and the whole nine, and that's how the conversation kind of began. But when I got back from the festival, I had a bunch of my homies and people who I'd never even heard of around the world hit me up, and they were like, man, what happened to you on Airbnb is crazy, but that also happened to me. And they were just giving me just different instances and experiences of racism, that they faced, right? So the idea came to me, and one, being a natural entrepreneur, but also a problem solver and being somebody who cares about Black culture, I was like, man, how do we solve this problem for Black people, for the Black community, not just African Americans, but Black people around the globe who want to travel and just live life and not have to worry about that. So the idea came to me, and being Black, and Noir means Black in French, it just had a good ring to it. I was like, NoirBnB, it just made sense because initially the idea was to have NoirBnB kind of be essentially a community within Airbnb, like similar to how you got VH1 and then you got VH1 Soul that focuses on the Black community. I was like, well, why not create something for your Black community that's on your platform already to build their own community within your community, and whether it be sharing travel tips, just communicating, sharing that bond and opening their spaces up, like that provides an option for one, Black property owners to make more money, but also for Black travelers to feel safe and just have that more authentic connection. So initially, that when the idea came to me, I put together kind of a pitch deck for it and reached out to the contact that I had in Airbnb, and they were feeling the idea. So they flew us out there to their headquarters in the whole nine, and we gave them the pitch. Yeah, it was cool. They showed love. But what we realized is that, one, they could not have one Black customer, and it wouldn't really affect their bottom line like that, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, granted it would, but I think that what we found out was that they've known about this problem on their platform for years before our thing even blew up like that. So essentially their thing was kind of like, they didn't even want to address it because they didn't really need to address it, right? So that was kind of what was going on. But essentially my idea and what I realized was that, one, they didn't really need to solve the problem, and that they probably wouldn't be that adamant about it. So we were in negotiation for like 6 months about making it happen and actually joining forces and whatever, and it just never panned out until eventually like another racist scenario popped up, and we reached out back to them. We're like, hey guys, well, let me backtrack a bit. While we were even negotiating with them and telling them the viability of our idea, right, Harvard came out with this study, and they were like, yeah, Black folks actually do face a lot of discrimination on your platform, and Black hosts tend to make like 60% less than white hosts do. Like, it was kind of crazy data. So we were like, all right, we came up with the idea, but here's Harvard, an Ivy League institution telling you the same thing we're telling you. That's and they were kind of like, yeah, we're going to make a statement, and just kind of like a PR type thing. And then after that, a couple months later, another situation popped up, and it was like, and the hashtag took off. It was Airbnb while Black. And we followed back up, and we were like, hey, like, look, we told you about this, and here's another situation telling you like, look, what happened to us isn't an isolated case. It will happen in bigger ways. So this is what's going on. And they were still kind of just very passive about it until eventually I was like, man, look, I've never built a tech company, I guess, in my life. I don't know anything about even doing this, but I know that we got a problem to solve, a community that needs this solution. So I was like, man, like, look, let's jump out there, make an announcement, and let's see what happens, man. And our goal was like, look, this is a Friday. We're gonna make the announcement. If we have 100 email signups by the time Monday comes around, then we got something to kind of build upon. And we had like 14,000 email signups by the time Monday came around, man. So we had we essentially had to build a machine to facilitate that demand, man. So that's how the whole thing came together.
That's what's up, man. That's crazy. But listen, man, kudos to you for having the courage to even step out and do something like that, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
One of the things I want to know, because I'm pretty green. You guys know about this Airbnb. I don't know nothing about this. So how does it work?
So, I mean, the way that it works essentially is that if somebody has a full property, whether it be apartment, condo, their entire house, even if it's just an extra room, and if you want to open that up and make some more money from it, you can list that property on Airbnb, like take a couple of pictures, put it on Airbnb, and like price it for the night, set your availability, and people can book your spot. So like I mean, whatever room you got, whatever extra property you got, that can be another revenue stream, man. So that's kind of how it came about.
Well, how is the availability? Is the availability versus like hotel availability? Do you run into any discrepancies with having?
I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, so if it's a spot that you don't live in, like a vacation house, and you're not going to be there for most of the year, then it's available for as long as you want it to be. But if you and the family want to go stay there, so say for instance,
is there a minimum or maximum time?
Not really. I mean, you can set it for like a week. You can set it for however long you want. So for instance, you guys probably stay up north. If you guys got a vacation condo or something in Miami, you're not going to be there for most of the weeks out of the year. Right. You can leave it open, rent it, make some money. But if you and the family want to come down for Memorial Day weekend, you want to hang out for a week, you can turn that availability off for that week for however many days or however long you want, and then come back, come down to Miami, enjoy your weekend vibe, and then when you leave, just have it cleaned, and then go back up top, and you can rent it out again and start making some money from it. So
it's a really, really, really good business model. You know, like you're saying, like if you have vacation property, a property you don't use, rather than you having to pay whatever the utilities or the mortgage on it if you don't own it outright, you have the people that's the guests coming, and they're actually paying for the mortgage, utilities, or whatever it may be. Let me ask you this: what would you say sets NoirBnB aside from Airbnb?
Well, I mean, a couple different things, man. So one, we're definitely primarily focused on the Black community, Black travelers, and providing a safe experience for them in that way. But even beyond all that, I mean, people can come to the site and book a property if they can find one in their location, then book it and do what they do. But on top of that, we also have a concierge service. So we essentially will find properties for you, find activities for you, even work on the ground transportation, and kind of like package the whole trip and manage the whole trip for you. So we do that as well. On top of that, because I mean, we are a culturally focused organization, we also promote Black businesses. So if you got a Black business, an organization, an event, we can share that for you, promote that for you, and we have a base that's built around that as well. Essentially, man, it's kind of creating an end-to-end 360 travel experience, man. I guess that's really our goal. Even actually, Airbnb actually used one of the ideas that I gave them in our pitch meeting. They got a program now called Airbnb Experiences, and that's something that I actually pitched to them when I met with them. But I mean, it's all good. I didn't have any NDAs or anything like that prepared. You know what I mean? But either way, you live and you learn. You know what I mean? But yeah,
they got their hands in everything. They take everything, man.
Yeah,
the game is the game.
Yeah, that concierge service, that really is crucial, you know, and it sets you aside from Airbnb. Like, I've had the experience. I've used Airbnb before, and I was sharing with Rob, I actually like the Airbnb experience over a hotel. You know, I have a family of 5, so when we go to a hotel, we have to purchase multiple rooms for people to stay in. You know, my children are a little bit older, and they don't want to stay together. The cost that I pay for Airbnb versus what I pay for a hotel room is significantly less. You know, I went to DC a couple of years ago to go to the museum, and I think I probably paid about like $500 or something like that, but all 5 of us were able to stay together. You know, whereas I've gone to DC before and I've stayed in hotels like not too far from the White House and paid like $300 a night type stuff, you know, in a small cramped room. What I noticed about you guys that was interesting is, like, I looked at like the fee breakdown, and I think I didn't see for you guys, you don't have a cleaning fee, or you don't have a service fee associated with it?
It depends, right? So for the host, if they have a cleaning, and like we kind of give them a lot of power as well, right? So I mean, if they do have a cleaning fee or a service fee, or some of them have like safety deposits, I mean, like, one to protect their assets and all that, we provide that as an option. But I mean, a lot of people don't even use it because, I mean, some of them won't already have their systems in place, whether it be for cleaning and whatever else, or they might have that price baked into it. And a lot of hosts actually just clean it themselves too. You know what I mean? So there's a couple of different pricing options that we provide for our hosts.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the word host too. Pardon me, Shannon. Is that host and guest? How does that work? Because I was reading, like, you know, there's 3%. The host gets 3%, and then the guest is 6 to 12%. Like, how does those numbers work when you're? Well,
essentially, I mean, on a base level, we take 10% of the transaction, right? So when a guest books a property and just books it on their own, it's a 7% service fee on that end, and for the host, it's just a 3% fee, because we're essentially creating a platform that markets their property, and we're opening them up to our traveler base. So. Just like 3%, so 3% from the host, 7% from the guests.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice though that it's really nice that you merge together the whole travel experience with the Airbnb experience. How do you determine, like, what's the criteria to be a host? Like, do you have to go out and actually vet the property and look at the property yourself and say, okay, this qualifies as being host worthy? How do you do that?
So some of the times we actually do that, as I guess it's a bit of quality assurance for ourselves and for our travelers as well. But I mean, essentially, the good thing about us being the kind of business that we are is that we're trailblazing in a unique way as far as our business model to focus on our community. But there are a bunch of companies and organizations and platforms that have been there kind of before we have. So what a lot of folks will do is, like, they'll already be listed on Airbnb or Vrbo or HomeAway or other platforms like that. And we'll essentially be like, man, well, look, we'll even create their listing for them, and they can just log in and update whatever they need to update. But essentially, like, a lot of other platforms helps us kind of verify that these are legit properties. And we also do a bit of our own back-end verification and ID testing and stuff for customers to make sure that these are legitimate properties too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense, man.
You guys have the I saw in, I think, Miami, what is it, the Cooper Door, 22 guests. So
yeah, Copper Door.
Copper Door? Is it like huge hotels, a huge bed and breakfast? Are they getting in on this also? And
most definitely. Most definitely. So the Copper Door in particular, and the reason why we like them, one, they're a Black-owned, like fully Black-owned BnB down here in Miami. So, I mean, that's always a great look for us. But so some of them are full-on bed and breakfast with 22 rooms. Some of them are like Black owned hotels. Some of them are just like your auntie and uncle who got an extra room or an extra property and want to rent it out. So I mean, it kind of runs the gamut, man, across the spectrum.
Nice.
That's dope, man. Airbnb. I need to get my Airbnb game up now, so I need to start traveling and see what this is all about, man.
You got to get your NoirBnB game up, my
yeah,
guy.
right. Absolutely, man. Good stuff, man. So, what do you see? What do you see for the future of NoirBnB? Where you think's going?
Man, honestly, man, like the primary thing for us is just making sure that we can provide and facilitate all the booking requests we have coming in, properly service our customer base and our user base. But in a lot of ways, we're already kind of growing, man. So we're in the process of developing the mobile app, working on that as well. We're continuing to build out the concierge service. We definitely we essentially want to make it so if you want to book your entire travel experience yourself, whether it be booking your accommodations or your flights, your ground transportation, like we want to provide that as well. But on top of that too, like fully building out the concierge service where we can literally provide a top-notch luxury experience and like hands-off. You don't even have to worry about it. Just do your thing, enjoy your trip, and that's the whole thing, man. But we want to do that. We want to partner with different countries and their tourism boards and really like create a seamless end experience and help people not only enjoy different cultures, but also if you're gonna go visit a country, how can your dollars benefit not just that host in that country, but how can it benefit the overall economy of these countries around the world as well too? And of course, particularly Black countries, whether it be Caribbean, African, even primarily Black cities, Black areas around New York, Jersey, Philly, DC, wherever. I mean, Oakland, LA, so places like that. So like we want to make sure that our platform and the revenue that our platform generates can really help benefit the communities that we're a part of. So we want to focus on that. But also too, I mean, hey, if you want to book a private jet on NoirBnB, like we want to have that available for you. If you're in a rush and you took a last minute business trip, like we want to be able to have you like you could book a quick seat in the barber chair, get your lineup. You know what I mean? Like man. So like a full overall just a valuable user experience, man. I mean, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. But
man. You know what? I appreciate you saying like you think about like the tourism dollar. A lot of people don't realize like, think about what we're experiencing right now. There are so many countries that are severely impacted because they rely on that tourism dollar, and people haven't had the opportunity to travel. What I like about the NoirBnB model that I really appreciate is that it's a win-win for all parties, right? As the host, you have an opportunity to make a couple of dollars. I think even as a guest, with me having been a guest through Airbnb before, but now it's going to be through NoirBnB, it's something different staying in a bed and breakfast versus staying in a hotel. Like that experience, it feels much more homely. You feel like you're really involved and ingrained in whatever the culture, whatever the area is, rather than going into a hotel. And like I've had the opportunity and to stay in like 5-star hotels in various different countries, but despite the fact that staying in all these different hotels, what resonates to me most a lot of times is actually like Airbnbs that I've used. So much to the fact that I shared this with Rob. Like, at one point I was planning a trip down to Miami with a bunch of our friends, and we were looking at the cost of it. And instead of going to a hotel, we was like, we could probably put our money together. You can get a mansion for the amount that you're gonna pay. Right. And just to use that to kind of segue, like another avenue, or what I'm seeing now a lot that comes up with the bed and breakfast model, is that the entertainment industry has really embraced it. So you see like a lot of reality TV shows are now filming in bed and breakfast. When you see music videos or photo shoots and things like that, have you guys been able to tap into that market yet?
Definitely. So to be honest with you, because I like really before I even got into the NoirBnB space or the short-term rental space, I was actually in entertainment. So I was hosting. I mean, I was rapping on the record label and different stuff like that. And one of my ideas initially, when I even went to Airbnb, was seeing how we can connect with people who may own properties that have like studios built in them or different stuff like that, where we could actually add that value. But I mean, we've had tons of folks reach out to us as far as wanting to shoot content or use different spaces and stuff like that. And the main thing for us is just, one, we want to make sure that the property owner is okay with that and their space is cool with that. But we've gotten tons of requests for that, man. Definitely.
Nice. How does the insurance piece work? Like, is the host, are they responsible for insurance, or are you guys as the overall company, do you have to have some level of insurance as well for them?
So that's actually something that we're actually building out right now as far as the whole insurance part of it. But that's also why we like to factor in things like a damage deposit or whatever else, and be really hands-on with as far as not just who the property owners are, but also who the guests are as well too, because both sides kind of represent not only themselves, but they represent the company overall as well too, man. So just even like companies like AirBnB, like they got huge multi-million-dollar insurance policies and all that, and we don't have that just yet, but that's something that we're going to be planning on building out as the company grows and scales.
Yeah.
Now, I happen to just surf the net a little bit and see what it is to sign up for like an Airbnb. And it looks very similar to like Trivago or Expedia, which listed everything. How easy is it to use it and get on it and just set your trip together, I guess? It's
super simple, man. So honestly, you just go to NoirBnB.com. Like, you don't even need to have an account to search for properties on there, but even creating an account is super simple. You can sign in with Google, with Facebook as well, or your regular email address. Sign up, and once you sign up, I mean, it's like a 3 to 5 minute process. Put your information in there,
right.
Like name, information, location, and like some ID verification, and it's pretty much done, man. And like, to be honest, we spent a lot of time refining the user experience process. I mean, like we want to make sure that it's smooth and seamless, and that people want to sign up,
right.
and it's an easy process for them. So.
Right,
Yeah.
they don't miss out on nothing. Get all the concierge. I want water in my limo. I want it all.
Exactly,
That's right.
precisely.
That's what's up.
Do you guys? And I did go on the website, and I had the opportunity to look around on the website, and I noticed that you guys have a lot of locations, like in country, like other countries, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
How'd you come about putting that together?
Man, to be honest, man, it's just like, it's been a lot of word of mouth, and I got to be super thankful, man, because the community has showed a lot of love. They've probably been our best marketing, our best word of mouth marketing, because like they promote the company, spread the word. I mean, like our marketing team, we do a lot of great work as well as far as put like social media stuff and different content that we put out there, man. But it's just been the community at large just giving us a lot of love, and really our goal really is to increase our inventory of properties massively, and of course, I mean around the world.
Right.
Like we got 10 target cities in the country that we want to make sure we increase inventory on. But I mean, we want to get more properties in Ghana, Nigeria, and Paris, like all over the place, man. So the goal is always to increase my inventory. Mm-hmm.
When you say inventory, I mean to cut you off. When you say inventory, you mean housing, you mean homes, you mean
property accommodations. Yep. I mean accommodations and properties. So definitely want to do that. But also, I mean, hey, man, more experience. So if you got folks who live in Brooklyn, wherever, DC, who do something cool, like whether they be painting or they're chefs
right.
or whatever they're doing, like we want to get them on the platform to showcase what they're doing as well. So
yeah,
nice.
Well, I'm gonna have to hit you up because I'm trying to go to Ghana next year. So
man, look, that's the plan.
Have to be my accommodations.
I need that 5-star experience, brother. I need that.
We got it for sure. We got it.
How has the current pandemic affected you guys' business model? I would imagine that business has to have taken like a little hit as a result of this.
Yeah, it's definitely slowed down a bit, man. But I mean, the main thing for us primarily is making sure that people are safe, man. You know what I mean? So like we want people to be able to be safe and feel comfortable while they're traveling. And on top of that, it's actually been a good thing because it's given us an opportunity to not just be with our families more, but also kind of think about ways that we can improve the business, how we can strategize and kind of get to that next level, and also provide even better and higher level service for our customers, man. So then there's that. But on top of that too, like we've been just sitting back and working on a lot of tech things and product development on the back end as well too, man. So there's been a silver lining among the dark cloud and all that, man. So yeah,
of course. Like when you have these opportunities to pause and kind of reflect and think about,
right.
this has created a level of creativity for people that probably, if things would have kept going as they were, people may have not had the time to tap into. So this is a good time to kind of refine the process and look at how you do things differently. Let me ask you this. In terms of, I guess, like the addition of like people actually signing up and getting on the platform, one of the things I noticed, and it may have been specific to like the Airbnbs that I've used, do you guys, you require a picture of the guest that's actually going to be staying in the home?
I mean, that definitely helps with the process. We don't necessarily require it, but I mean, that would also help with the verification and them being able to book properties and all that. Because of course, people want to see who we're dealing with. And a big thing for us too is like our goal is to build a community and build an organic community. You know what I mean? So yeah, feel free to. And one of the big things with Airbnb was that like folks would actually, when they tried to book places, they would actually have to hide what they look like and hide their faces. And we didn't even want to have to create that kind of environment on our platform. So yeah.
Because the Airbnbs I've stayed in, people you upload a picture of your family. They want to see who's staying there. You gotta.
I hate to see something. You look crazy.
Yeah. For real.
Have you had any situations where maybe somebody did like rent a property or use a property and they misused the property, and how did you kind of mitigate that in those circumstances?
No, luckily we've actually been blessed. Like, I mean, I think that the good thing about it is that like we've attracted a lot of great folks into the company, but part of me almost feels like when people book with NoirBnB, they're kind of like, man, look, let's make the homies look good. Let's make everybody look good, and just try to be on their best behavior, man. But luckily we haven't had any issues, man. It's been cool.
Nice.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, knock on wood. You know what I mean? But yeah, things have been cool.
Yeah, I don't want to put that in the ethos. Yeah, man. Look, another thing that, like I said, when we start off this conversation, I was saying to you, like, I always appreciate like the entrepreneurial spirit. Like, when are we talking about possibly having an initial public offering and taking this thing public?
Man, honestly, I definitely thought about that, and that was a big thought in my mind, especially at the beginning of the company. Especially, I mean, like when you get into the tech space and you're building companies like that, like that's always a big part of the conversation, especially when you're trying to raise money for investors and different stuff like that. But to be honest, man, like NoirBnB is my baby. It's my company. And I think that a big thing for me is just making sure that we can just build a business that is focused on serving the customers and not even necessarily worrying about, I mean, granted, I mean, going public and the IPO and all that it's a great look and it feels good, man. But at the same time, you almost can lose track of the vision. And sometimes, I mean, investors want the business to succeed, but sometimes they don't understand the original vision and the ethos of the business. And even some of your best and favorite companies, like when they go public and get that money, like they end up losing the essence of what they were. And I don't want NoirBnB to ever lose the essence of what it is, man. So I want to make sure that we can continue our focus. And of course, I mean, always doing better year over year, revenue wise and user base and stuff like that. But I mean, the primary thing for me is to make sure that we can be a sustainable and successful business and continue to grow and just focus on that. I mean, if we do get the opportunity, maybe later on, might consider it, but that's like the furthest thing from my mind right now, man.
Nice. Yeah, there's that shift, right? When you doing it on your own and it's your baby, you know what, you be held to your vision, your mission, your idea. But once you go public, then it's about, all right, I got to think about what I do to make the shareholders happy. You're absolutely correct. A lot of times the shareholders, they don't understand the business, so they understand the business model. The only thing they looking at the bottom line. What is the revenue?
Yep. Precisely. Precisely. And I mean, and I respect all that's well and good, but sometimes they don't understand a lot of them aren't in the inner workings and seeing what makes the benefit every day and what really continues it. And they also don't know a lot of the time what our customers are, even what some of their needs are, what their desires are, requests are, man. So it's like us being in the trenches helps us just really focus and provide that overall better experience, man.
That's right, man. And you should always shoot for customer satisfaction, man. Once you got a satisfied customer, they'll come back, they'll tell somebody, they'll spread the word. And that's really how business moves back and forth. But back to the international domestic thing. Do you ever find an issue when it comes to lodging certain people from an international versus domestic request, I guess?
Not really. I mean, I think people kind of have similar requests when it comes to wherever they're staying, whether it be domestically or internationally. So I mean, that hasn't really been an issue. It's just a lot of the time it can be sometimes like a language barrier between our team and hosts and stuff like that. But honestly, it hasn't been that big of a thing.
Because everybody at the end of the day, everybody speaks the same language, right? You got to make sure.
Precisely.
It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. You look. That's when when I heard about it, I'm like, man, like this is really something that's on. Like, look, you definitely have my support. The next time I go to, I'm traveling, I'm like, that Airbnb.
Yeah, let me think first. Let me go NoirBnB. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, fellas. That means a lot, man. Thank you.
Do you guys have other hosts that are not necessarily listed on the website?
Yeah, so one we got more hosts in kind of like a big network of property owners that whether it be like they got their own platforms or and sometimes we'll just market for people as well too. And on top of that, like a lot of the time what we do as well for properties that may not be listed on the site or for other locations, like we'll just have our concierge team reach out to them and kind of manage it on the back end for our customers as well.
Nice. Who sets the rate? You guys determine the rate, or the host sets the rate? And have you ever found yourself in a position where a host sets like some enormous rate and you're like, look, that's out of market value?
It's not even realistic.
I mean, the good thing about it is we haven't really had an issue with that, because the beauty about capitalism and the free market is that, I mean, hey, if you're pricing out your customer base, they're just not going to shop with you. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to spend that money there. So people have to be very smart about how they price it. But we don't set the pricing at all. All the hosts set their pricing, and they actually set the pricing based on different events, right? So if it's the middle of winter, then some folks might adjust their pricing. But I mean, hey, like if it's summertime and it's about to be could be the Puerto Rican Flag Day or whatever the festivals that's happening, Caravana, whatever's going on, like folks are going to want to up their pricing a bit, you know what I mean? So we allow them the opportunity to kind of set their pricing based on what may be happening in their area, in their region, if they updated their property, however it goes. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes me like, because my wife and I, we're looking at possibly purchasing another home down south. And I was saying, I was like, maybe we need to find something that's like nice, because we looking at Georgia, so maybe we need to find something like in an area in Atlanta that has some attraction or some appeal to it. So when we're not there, we get we could host it. We could be a host.
Yeah, we could be a host.
Thing. Yeah. So I mean, it's again like a phenomenal idea. I'm just shifting gears because I know you do real estate also. I wanted to ask you a couple of real estate related questions. When this is all said and done, and people come out of this, do you think there's going to be a seller or a buyer's market?
I think it's been, even before this, I think it was slowly shifting into a buyer's market anyway. But to be honest, man, like things are surprisingly holding well. I mean, as far as like real estate prices down here in Florida, like the prices haven't been that crazy. And we're actually selling a lot of homes even this year compared to last year as well too, man. So I think that prices will hold firm for a bit. And on top of that too, I think that, one, based on just how it's hit the economy, a lot of people are out of work right now, so a lot of folks might not even be in a position to buy. You know what I mean? And so, I think that could affect both the buyer side and the seller side, man. But I think that for right now, things have been holding kind of steady. So we'll have to see. But I think that even before this, things were kind of shifting into a buyer's market anyway.
Yeah. What do you attribute that to?
You mean like overall, like why it's shifting?
Yeah.
Man, look, I'm sure you guys are very well versed in finance and all that and markets. It's just the nature of the market, man. Things are always going up and down, shifting from left to right, man. So yeah, they fluctuate precisely, man. So like on average, I think that markets tend to sustain for about 8 years or so before they shift. And recently, like over the past few years, like people have been calling for a recession and a switch for a long time, but the economy was, before the whole virus stuff, the economy was booming and the best it had ever been. But of course, I mean, whether it be stuff like this or whatever happens, man, like markets always shift and it's a fluctuation, man. So it's part of the game. It's all part of the game.
Yeah. I'm looking at like from a buyer's perspective, I'm like, man, like maybe the government may have all kind of programs available and everything to encourage people to buy now, knowing that, it's coming out of this. But like you said, like there's always going to be a fluctuation. And I would imagine that there's probably like huge inventory based on people, there are some people who haven't gotten paid while all this was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, a lot of people who own properties definitely took a major hit. Because a lot of folks, like I said, are out of work, probably can't pay their rent, and those mortgages didn't really get halted or paused. You know what I mean? So, so bills are always coming, expenses are always coming, and even beyond all that, commercial real estate has taken a major hit and will probably never be the same again. Because I mean, a lot of your big companies are shifting to remote work and realize that they don't even really need that office space like that. I mean, it's kind of an unnecessary expense, man. And some of your big giant retailers are closing down and stuff like that as well too, man. So commercial real estate has taken a very big hit as far as the market goes, man. But I think that residential is probably is gonna hold its value, and apartments and so rentals are definitely gonna be on the rise as well too. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, this pandemic has created all types of creativity for people. Yeah, like once upon a time, we thought you needed to sit in the office and be behind a desk to do your work. But now people are realizing, like, wait a minute, people can be just as effective, if not even more effective from home. And I don't have the overhead of having all this property that I got to pay for.
Exactly. Precisely.
Well, even if you look at like the shift, like in terms of when you look at where I guess like online sales are versus people actually going into store, like online sales are boom. And I think even before this, online sales was taking off, and you see like a whole bunch of different business owners now. Their model is like, I don't have a physical location. All my stuff is available online, and it's just shipped right from the warehouse.
That's it.
Yep. I mean, man, look, I mean, well, one, for me personally, besides just NoirBnB and my real estate stuff, I actually have like a graphic design and a marketing business, and I sell we have like a clothing line as well. And we've never had any brick and mortar locations. Even for a lot of my merchandise, some of that stuff, like I'll design it, but when it gets printed and shipped out, I've literally never even touched it, because like you can build an entire business just off of setting the right things in place online. And I mean, Amazon went crazy. I don't even know how much their market value ballooned or took off, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, but like Bezos is about to be the first trillionaire, because during the pandemic, Amazon was one.
Everybody was on Amazon.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy. That's real.
Man. We need Noir shipping next.
Yeah, son.
Is it Noir shipping?
Noir shipping.
Hey, man. Look, trust me, I done thought about it. I thought about
Put it out there, so long as you think about it, it can come true, baby.
Yeah, for real, man. Most definitely.
So share your website, share your social media if people want to get in contact with you, if people want to book a NoirBnB. How do we go about doing that?
Man, look, first and foremost, if you want to book a NoirBnB, you go to NoirBnB.com. We are always accepting new hosts. We love new property owners, and like, come list your property. Wherever you're looking to travel, come rock with us. We love to support you. Even if you get on the site and search and there's no property in your location, we can reach out to our partners, put our concierge team on that, find it for you. And on top of that, if the concierge person books it for you because you couldn't find it, your 7% booking fee or service fee is cut in half, 3.5%, because we want to provide that value and assist as well. If you're in South Florida, thinking about moving to Florida, know somebody in Florida, I'm always helping people sell real estate, whether you buying, selling, renting, investing. I'm always available to help. And yeah, man, you need some help with marketing, branding, design, trying to design a mobile app, your website. I got a company that does that too. I'm Jamaican, so I got mad jobs.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And I see that Bob Marley in the back.
Yeah. True. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Exactly,
so yeah.
Sir. Hard workers, man.
All day. You know what I mean? So if you want to follow us on socials, it's at NoirBnB. So that's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, same thing. Come rock with us. If you want to follow me on my Twitter social media names is Stefisdope. That's STEFISDOPE. And the dope stands for driven on positive energy, because that's what I'm about. And lastly, if you want to invest in real estate and thinking about investing in real estate, I released my first book recently called The Beginner's Guide to Investing in Real Estate, or to Real Estate Investing. So rock with me, man. I'm working all day, every day.
Keep working, bro. Nice. I appreciate you, man. I'm feeling your energy and everything. We love that, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
this is good stuff.
I appreciate
good stuff, man.
Thank you.